What a way to lose yet again. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they do this to you. They have a tendency to do this to you. Just get your hopes up. It looked like they were going to come back and they were going to do it. We were all keeping calm. We were believing in this team, and they were just unable to pick it up in the comeback attempt. That's tough. Tough way to lose. ASC, spot on. They lost this when Hutch let those two softies in within 7 seconds. The Toronto Maple Leafs efforts tonight, I'm just going to let's start off. Let's dig right in, okay? The Toronto Maple Leafs story of the game tonight, too little, too late. The Toronto Maple Leafs played a sloppy first 40 minutes. First two periods were a mess, dreadful. That third period, they came out and they looked like the better team. They looked like the team that we've been looking for 5 of the past 6 games. This team has lost 5 of the past 6 games, and that lead in the North Division, it's slowly and it's starting to get smaller and smaller. Teams are catching up. The point margin is not as big as it once was. We had a 9-point lead over the rest of the North Division just last week. We're watching that slowly deteriorate, and it's losses like this. We lost two of 3 to the Winnipeg Jets, and then we lose this game against a team we need to beat in the Ottawa Senators. They got our hopes up at the end of that game. They really did. But it was too little, too late, and I don't even care that goal was called back. That was the right call in my eyes. To have that goal called back, that was a no goal. No goal. Pierre Engvall, he's in the crease. It's no goal. It's blatant no goal. What does everyone think? Is that a goal or no goal? And to me, the Maple Leafs didn't deserve to win this game anyways, so I don't care that it was no goal. The Toronto Maple Leafs did not deserve to win this game after the first 40 minutes. Those first 2 periods of this game were horrendous. Let's hit the comment section here. T-Dot says, Leafs choking like usual. In order to choke, I'm pretty sure you need to be ahead in the game. Leafs turn the puck over way too much, especially in their own zone. And you know what? Perfect comment. The turnovers have been ridiculous for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have been horrible. 2 consecutive games, they have turned the puck over 12 times, each of the past 2 games. The outcome of those 2 games, we lost, deservingly so. The Toronto Maple Leafs are making silly passes in their own end, they're making passes across the slot in their own zone. And no wonder they are losing games because they're turning the puck over. Oh, it's frustrating. Unbelievable. That was an unbelievable game. That's a good comment. Good comment, Jarrett. Toronto lost to another emergency goalie. Not quite. He's played in the NHL before, but yes, his first career NHL win, and we gifted it to him. The Toronto Maple Leafs gifted it to him. He played a hell of a game, 36 saves, great performance from him. But the Toronto Maple Leafs gave this game away. They lost because they were the worst team in this game. The Ottawa Senators came out ready. They came out firing, and they deservingly won this game. Toronto was bad tonight. The first 40 minutes, they were bad. Too little, too late for the Toronto Maple Leafs in that third period. 3 stars of tonight's game. Yeah, there's actually a Maple Leafs player on there. First star, Drake Batherson. 2 goals in 53 seconds. He had a great performance. Second star, Zach Hyman, scored 2 goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then third star, his first NHL win, Joey Decord. Congratulations to him. He played a great game and deservingly got the win tonight. Good goal, says William Bennett. And you know what? I disagree with you. First look, I'm like, yeah, that's a good goal. Looking at it, Pierre Engvall is in the crease. He's in the crease, and that's where the goalie plays. You got to give the goalie the crease to make that save there. It's got to be a good goal. ASC says, I'm starting to believe that Matthews was carrying the team because as soon as he hurt his wrist, this team has nosedived. They've looked, ever since Austin Matthews, got back from his injury, really right after Edmonton, this team has taken a nosedive, a faceplant. They've been bad. They've been bad, really, really bad recently. 5 of 6 games they've lost. This team will rebound. I think this team will respond. I hope they'll respond. They have a week off, close to a week off, 5 days off. They have off until Friday. So we play against the Calgary Flames, and we need to come back firing. You need to come back firing against the Calgary Flames. This is frustrating. What a frustrating game we just watched here. So let's talk about Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe, I liked what he did in this game. I think Sheldon Keefe was the best part about this game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You let me know if you disagree with this. Michael Hutchinson starts the game, and he's struggling. 2 goals, 3 shots. First one, it's not a nice goal. It's whatever. Second one, right through the 5-hole. You cannot allow that. Just like, what was it, 6 seconds after? Just such a short timing between these 2 goals. And Michael Hutchinson, he's yanked. I like that from Sheldon Keefe, trying to tell this team, let's go. Get going out there. And it didn't work. Sheldon Keefe with 6.5 minutes left pulls the goalie. That's a move that not many coaches do, I think. Down by 3 goals, Sheldon Keefe pulls the goalie. 6 minutes 30 seconds. It's a great attempt. It's a great comeback attempt, and Sheldon Keefe did an excellent job of coaching and managing the bench tonight. I believe that. But you can't play the way the Maple Leafs played for the first 40 minutes and expect to come back magically in the last 3 minutes, okay? It doesn't happen too often unless you're playing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's not okay the way the Toronto Maple Leafs came out the first 40 minutes flat, but I liked what I saw from Sheldon Keefe managing as a coach tonight. I think he did a great job. William Bennett says Kiefer for the Jack Adams. Hashtag Keefe for Jack Adams. Trevor says, no worries, Leafs will recover. Lots of games left to win. We're still in first place. That's a positive, but there isn't much positive to take right now. There's not much positive right now. I see old school say Taylor Hall time. No, I don't want to trade for Taylor Hall. Last time I checked, he has 2 goals. He could have 3 by now, but I do not want Taylor Hall right now. He's been struggling mightily. Why would you pick up a player who has a contract expiring at the end of the year and who's just been struggling all season long? It is not Taylor Hall time in Toronto. Don't even mention it. Don't bring it up. Rusty Nail says, I think we saw the last of Hutch this year. The newly acquired goaltender will replace him and would have stopped those softies. So in the trade with, he's talking about the trade with Mikko Lehtinen sent to Columbus. His name's hard to say. Veini Vettinainen. I don't think he's going to be at the NHL level this year. I don't think he will be. So, no, he's not going to be at the NHL level this year. He's made 3 saves in the NHL, played 1 game. He has a goals against average of 5.65. Just give him time. He's just 24 years old. I don't think we're going to see him in the NHL this year. Not this year. Maybe in a couple years. Maybe. But he struggled in the AHL last year as well. I don't really see him playing at the NHL level in the near future. But, stay positive and have high hopes for him. That trade, we got rid of Mikko Lehtinen. He really wasn't doing anything for us. 9 games, 3 assists, 3 points. He did not live up to the expectation that many people in this market had for him. I was telling you all, I was telling so many people, he's trying to transition from the KHL to the NHL. We cannot expect Mikko Lehtinen to be a top 4 or top 2 pairing guy. And everyone was just getting upset saying he's going to play with Morgan Riley. He's going to play with Jake Muzzin. No, he's not. He was struggling outside of playing on the power play, and he got traded. And good luck to him in Columbus, because he's going to have to go play with John Tortorella, who benches a lot of people, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Mikko Lehtinen benched quite frequently. Marner MVP says, I hate that we traded Lehtinen. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. But why do we hate the fact that we traded Lehtinen? Honestly, he didn't do anything for us. He didn't do anything for us. He was just another defensive depth guy. He could play on the power play. Outside of that, Sheldon Keefe said it himself. He struggles everywhere except for on the power play. You do not want your head coach saying that. Now that he's going to Columbus, he's gonna be under John Tortorella now. Old School says Jake giveaway Gardner cleared waivers. Yeah, Jake Gardner cleared waivers. He's got a big contract right now. Not many teams willing to take that on. And Jason Brooks says he wasn't. This is Mikko Lehtinen. He wasn't gonna get much ice time. He really wasn't. He really wasn't. And the Leafs did right by him in a way. I guess they sent him to a team which they don't really need defense in Columbus. So I don't know. I don't really see this being a major move at all. But we'll see what happens with these 2 players. Rye says Liljegren should replace Dermott's spot. That's interesting. Travis Dermott, he's been struggling recently. Had a couple really costly giveaways in that Winnipeg series. I don't know. We'll see. We could see Timothy Liljegren come in this year, but I think if anyone's coming in, it will be Rasmus Sandin when he's all recovered from his injuries. So Sandin, Liljegren, these are options that we have outside of Mikko Lehtinen, who's recently been traded. We have other options as well. We've got a lot of defensive depth options. So that's why I am perfectly fine with us sending away Mikko Lehtinen. So I want to play a word game again. Let's play this word game. What word would you, in the comments section, what word would you use? This is going to be funny, I'm sure. What word would you use to describe the Maple Leafs' efforts in tonight's game? One word. What are you using? I got to think on mine for a second. Videos of Reddit with a troll here. Leafs should trade Marner and Matthews for Jake Gardner. It's a good trade. Okay, let's see these. William Bennett says late joke. Yep. That's what I thought of. That's what I'm thinking. Lackluster. We were good for the last period. We were stellar that last period. Great performance that third period. Man, 40 minutes of lackluster play from the Toronto Maple Leafs are the reason we're sitting here having this discussion right now, because they weren't on ice. They might as well have not played for those first 40 minutes. That was some of the worst Maple Leafs hockey I've seen all year this season. Just so many giveaways, turnovers, nonstop. This team has been really inconsistent recently, losing. Well, they've been consistent. Actually, they've been consistently losing. 5 of their past 6 games they have lost. It's been tough to watch. Asleep. Typical. Okay. That's a good one, actually. That's a good one. Overconfident? Overconfident. Interesting. Uh, Opportunity to show us. Give him a chance to actually play. I really liked how he was in the KHL. And with more time, he could have been really good for us. In the KHL, Marner MVP, in the KHL, the transition from the KHL to the NHL is not an easy thing to make. We've seen multiple players struggle with this transition. Mikheyev did well with the transition, but we have seen so many players struggle and not be able to transition their game to the NHL level. It's two completely different games. I mean, he wasn't doing it for us. He was not doing it for us. Lettinen, best of luck to him. Inconsistency, Jason Brooks. It was very inconsistent. Hurt Locker 66 says 5-hole hutch. That goal, that second goal, that was horrid. That was a really bad goal. Just slides it across the ice, right through the 5-hole. You got to have that. You have to have that if you're Hutch. And right away, Sheldon Keefe says that's enough. Hutchinson made one save on 3 shots tonight. He's been serviceable for us this season. He's got us some wins. He's been something we can rely on at times. But you can't give Michael Hutchinson too many opportunities, or this isn't. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. 5-hole Hutch with that goal. That was a tough one. Right here. One word. Horrible. We did not show up till when it was too late. It looked like the Sens were using us to practice on. This was by far our worst game. You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you. This was horrible. 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 Horrible start to this game. And that effort at the end of the game, it was outstanding. But this game was so hard to watch. It was so hard to watch. I was almost falling asleep watching the first 2 periods. I was like, what is this team doing? Just turning the puck over, taking dumb penalties. And then at the end of the game, they get our hopes up. Just because why not? Let's pour salt in the wound here. Let's get this fan base going, and then let's just not tie it up. Donnie says losing 5 of 6 to non-playoff teams, and I will go ahead and I will say the Winnipeg Jets. Pretty sure they're a playoff team. What the hell is wrong with JT? At the end of the game, JT, if you didn't see it, he struggled to get the puck in the zone, couldn't control it, but he's had some tough times here in Toronto this year. The hockey kid says, I think Kerfoot just played his last game for the Leafs. We'll see. We'll see if the Toronto Maple Leafs decide to make any moves here. They could definitely make some moves in the next few days. They don't play again until Friday. Wouldn't be surprised to see it, especially after Mikko Lehtinen just got traded. Would not be surprised to see the Maple Leafs make some more moves. Leafs Forever chipping in on the word game says embarrassment. Speak your mind. Speak your mind, Leafs Nation. I mean, those first 2 periods were definitely an embarrassment. And then watching that third period, it's just salt in the wound. A dagger right through the heart of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto St. Pats. Oh, it was bad. ASE, I'd like to see Robertson and Galchenyuk to replace Boyd and VC after the break. What do you think? Robertson, Galchenyuk. Galchenyuk could definitely get some time. Sheldon Keefe's going to have to make a decision. What has he seen from Galchenyuk in practice? He's seen some good stuff with him in the Marlies, scored a goal. Nick Robertson, he's ready to play. He's ready to come back. Get these guys in. Get one of these guys in. I'd love to see Nick Robertson back up here at the NHL level. Probably before Alex Galchenyuk. Boyd, definitely ready to get him out of the lineup. But VC recently, he's been better. VC's definitely been a lot better. So maybe give him a couple more games just because he went on that little scoring spree. He's been doing the little things in this that he needs to do in these games. So if VC starts to struggle again, I wouldn't be hesitant to yank him. Boyd, he can be yanked for sure. He's been struggling. Robertson, Galchenyuk, either one of these guys, you can get them some time for sure. Names for trades, players that I would like to acquire. Maybe a guy like Eric Stahl, Philip Forsberg. Don't really think that's going to happen. Granlund's the big name that we're hearing. We could use that. We could definitely use any help. Any help right now. Losing 5 of the last 6 games. This team needs a spark. This team needs a spark. We got a week off. Play Calgary Friday night. And the Toronto Maple Leafs need to come out hot against the Calgary Flames. This has been painful to watch. This last stretch of games has been bad. Stahl is high miles. He's got a Stanley Cup ring too. Lol, Eng bum. That's Hot Take Hockey. If you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you check it out. But Eng bum, yes. If only he wasn't in the crease, right? That he just parks it right in the crease and gets our hopes up just to have that goal called back. Honestly, though, the Maple Leafs didn't deserve to win this game. Even if that goal counted, the Maple Leafs did not deserve to win this game. They did not play a full 60 minutes. That was horrible. It was horrible watching that first 20 minutes, that first 40 minutes of hockey, rather. Videos of Reddit. Who do you think is your starter once Campbell is back? Still Frederik Andersen. The starter of this team is still Frederik Andersen until Jack Campbell can take that away from him. You can say he's got a shutout, he's done this, he's done that. We haven't seen Jack Campbell do it. He's had a small sample size this year. He's never been a starter in the NHL. Frederik Andersen is still the Toronto Maple Leaf starter, even when Jack Campbell comes back. Like it or not, Freddie's the starter of this Toronto Maple Leafs team. The Leafs played embarrassing tonight. They didn't want to win tonight, not at all. They're thinking about their 4 days off. It looked like it for the first 40 minutes, for sure. That was ugly. Ugly first 40 minutes, but damn. The comments are coming in. Dave, sick and tired of the same story every year. Leafs Nation is pissed off tonight. And you know what? Deservingly so. You just preach your anger here. I mean, this has been bad. It's been bad. Losing 5 of the last 6 games. This team was first in the it's still first in the division. The Maple Leafs still first in the division, but that lead is deteriorating, and it hasn't been slow either. It's just the lead's getting smaller and smaller. It's only a matter of time before Winnipeg jumps into first place because the Toronto Maple Leafs are just slacking hard, and it's horrible to watch. That game was horrible, but you know what? With the long 4-day break ahead of them, they can really learn from these last stretch of games. Hopefully this is a learning experience. Sheldon Keefe, I don't know if he's going to give this, I'm sure he's going to give this team some rest, but there's going to be some practices for sure. I'd expect there to still be practices over these next 4 days. Sheldon Keefe and this team needs to recover. They need to regroup, and they need to use this game as motivation. These last 6 games, the Toronto Maple Leafs have lost all 5, and their one win came in overtime. That is ugly. Ugly past 6 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's put this behind us. Put it behind us. Bury it. Don't ever pull it up again. Please. Please don't make this happen again. Sure it will. Sometime. Hopefully not this year. We can't have another 6 day stretch like this, 6 game stretch like this. This team will be in trouble. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to rebound, and it needs to start Friday night against the Calgary Flames, who we've been good against this year. We need to be good against Calgary Flames and just use that momentum going forward. Great comment, Marner MVP. Rye says, we would have won the game, but Riley hit the damn crossbar. Riley hit the crossbar. Engvall, that no goal in the crease. It's a bunch of what ifs. It's a bunch of what ifs, Rye. This team lost this game, and it's not because Morgan Riley hit the crossbar. It's not because Pierre Engvall was in the crease. It's because the Toronto Maple Leafs did not deserve to win this game. They were the worst team tonight for 40 minutes. They played great the last 20, but you cannot do that. You can't do that in the NHL and expect to win. It's not going to work. William Bennett says, when Campbell gets back, they should play 50-50 split with Anderson and Campbell. Whoever plays better gets the playoffs. That could be interesting. It could be interesting. I mean, Frederik Anderson, that would definitely give him some much-deserved rest. And Jack Campbell, he's played well for us so far, but the injuries, that's something that scares me. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sheldon Keefe manages this. Jason Brooks says Anderson, but I'd like to see Campbell and Freddie split the net for the rest of the season to keep Freddie rested. So, yeah, people are on board with that. Not sure about Anderson anymore. I mean, the past 5 or 6 games especially have been ugly for Frederik Anderson. I'm going to give you that. They've been ugly for Frederik Anderson, but a lot of these, like going back to one of those Winnipeg games, that game, there was nothing he could have done. Honestly, nothing he could have done. And I'm not even just making excuses for the goaltender. There was nothing he could have done that game. Tonight, he came in expecting to be rested. Made 20, what was it? 20, he made 26 saves on 28 shots tonight. Expecting to have a rest night. Comes in early in the first period because Michael Hutchinson allows 2 soft goals. I thought he did well considering a back-to-back game. And, I mean, he wasn't expecting to play tonight. I thought Frederik Anderson played well considering the circumstances he was playing in. But you can't blame this loss on Frederik Anderson either, I don't think. Whether we hit the crossbar or not, or Engvall was in the crease or not, we did not deserve that win. Even if we won, I still wouldn't be happy. We should have played harder and stronger. Marner MVP, that's a money comment. Spot on again. Doesn't matter if we hit the crossbar. Doesn't matter if that goal was allowed. Heck, we could have went to overtime and lost this game. That would have been, I mean, it would have been better. We would have got a point, but it would have hurt. It would have hurt just as much. It doesn't matter that we lost this game because of this, or this. That's not the reason. The reason is because the Maple Leafs shot themselves in the foot for the first 40 minutes of this game. They turned the puck over all over the place, making passes in their own end across the slot, setting up the Ottawa Senators for success. They have no one to blame but themselves for tonight's loss. The only reason this game is as close as it was is because Sheldon Keefe managed this game exceptionally well. Yanked Michael Hutchinson just minutes into this game, said that's enough. I'm not dealing with this. Let's go. Get the team going. Didn't really get a spark at all. Usually when you pull your goalie that early, that's going to spark your team. It didn't. No response from the Leafs early on. And then late in the game, I loved what I saw from Sheldon Keefe. It was aggressive. Pulls Frederik Anderson with 6 minutes, 30 seconds left. You can call it desperation, and yeah, that's desperation. That's also smart. You don't see many coaches pull the goalie down by 3 with 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go. I thought that was a great coached game from Sheldon Keefe, but ultimately the Toronto Maple Leafs They lost this game in the first 40 minutes, and they were unable to come back. Story of this game is definitely that they just shot themselves in the foot. Too little, too late. Mark Williamson says, "That's right. Poor effort all around." The last 6 minutes was galaxy brain stuff. The last 6 minutes, it was amazing. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch that last 6 minutes, but it was tough. Mark Williamson says, "Smash that like button, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Mark. Smash that like button if you haven't already. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content is coming out on Maple Leafs Media. Also, check me out on Maple Leafs Media Instagram. Facebook page is growing, getting close to 3,000 page likes. This brand's growing. Check out the merchandise line we got. This shirt. I was getting excited tonight because it looked like they were gonna actually pull off a comeback, but keep calm and believe. Can't get it centered. Yeah, keep calm, believe. Hard to do when you lose 5 of the last 6 games, but we got trade offers coming in. Nevin says, "Man, Aaron Dell would have been nice to have right now. Would have been nice to have another security blanket, another insurance policy at goal, but can't dread on that." What is your take on Keefe and his style of coaching? I think Sheldon Keefe is a great coach. I think he's a player's coach. The players love to play for him. He's had a lot of the players from the Marlies develop with him and grow with him that are now on this Maple Leafs team. Names like Travis Dermott, Justin Hall, William Nylander have all played for Sheldon Keefe in the AHL. Players like to play for him. It shows. And I love that he was just aggressive tonight. Yanked Michael Hutchinson early on and was willing to pull the goalie with 6 minutes, 30 seconds. I love Sheldon Keefe as a head coach, and I think he's right as head coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leafs are nowhere near a Stanley Cup team. If Dubas makes the right changes, they will have a shot. I'd like to know what you think are the right changes for becoming a Stanley Cup contender. I'd like to know. I think that this is the best shot that this team has had in a long time. I'll say that. Definitely the best shot that this team has had in a long time. This team is built better than they have been in the years past. I think a move or two could definitely push this team into Stanley Cup contention. I think we could get lucky and maybe get there, but right now, I'm going to say that we're not a Stanley Cup team right now, as is the way we've played these past 6 games. We sure looked like it early on in the season, but these past 6 games are telling me otherwise, old school. From an outside perspective, my impression is that the Leafs' problem is a lack of effort from superstar mindset. As a Jets fan, Laine had that same attitude, no back check, and careless attitude. So I'd like to know who has a lack of effort. Tell me that. Tell me who's the lack of effort from. Hot take, scratch Matthews. Let him rest and properly heal himself so he's ready for the playoffs or when we really need him. Okay, Marner MVP. That could be a good thing to do. It could be a good thing to do. But I'll tell you this. I've had a wrist injury. I've had a wrist injury myself. And wrist injuries, it's very complicated at times. If you have ligament damage and stuff, these can linger on and on and on and on and on. And they can continue to just nag throughout an entire season. So you can scratch them all you want, but that, for all you know, that could still be an injury and it could still come back. It could help. It could help, but I don't think that Austin Matthews would be playing right now if A, he wasn't comfortable, B, the doctors weren't comfortable, and Sheldon Keefe didn't believe that he's ready to play right now. And this team, like, it's very tricky when you're talking about your superstar Austin Matthews, but we're a better team with him on the ice, and we need to win right now. We need to win some games. So having him out there, it can really hurt us if he gets injured. But that wrist injury, that's something that can come back at any time. We'd rather have a healthy Matthews with no screwed up wrist for the playoffs than play him half injured during the regular season. And that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is that, which we don't need him because we've seen we can win without him and have more likely to be out in the playoffs. Yes, I see what you're saying, but the wrist injury, it it can come back at any time. Once you injure a wrist, it can come back at any point in time. Uh, I believe that if the doctors didn't think he was all right to play, he wouldn't be out there. He's not 100%, and once you mess up a wrist, it's almost never going to be 100% again. So, I mean, I think that the Maple Leafs are making this decision based off of what their doctors have been telling them, what Matthews has been reporting to them. Rye says, "Who remembers when the Leafs come back against Columbus in the play-in round? I screamed when Matthews scored that goal in overtime." Yeah, and then we had yeah. I mean, I don't like to talk about that Columbus series too much. That's tough times. If all top 4 players down, Leafs are done. I think that's John. I think that's the way that most teams work. I mean, if you took Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, and Point off of Tampa Bay, or even Vasilevsky, I don't think they'd be a Stanley Cup team. If you took Pastrnak, Bergeron, McAvoy, and Marchand off the Boston Bruins, I don't think they'd be a Stanley Cup team. I think they'd be done. You take your top 4 players off of any team, they're done. Just you take 4 players, top 4 players off every team, that team's gonna be done. It's the way it is. These are names that the Maple Leafs should have on their trade block: VC, Engvall, Thornton, back to San Jose, Kerfoot, Mikheyev, Dermott, and Nylander. Thornton, he's not going anywhere. Engvall, he's been playing better. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in a package, though. I think that that's a name that's definitely floating around the trade block often. VC doesn't have much trade value right now. Kerfoot could go. Mikheyev, I don't think he's going anywhere, especially with his contract. Team-friendly deal. Dermott, he could go. I don't really see that with Mikko Lennon just being traded. And William Nylander, I really don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere this year. I think the 2 players that can be moved off this is Pierre Engvall and Alex Kerfoot. I think those are the 2 most likely names to be traded. JB, is it panic time yet? JB, you know what I say all the time. Keep calm and believe. No, it's not a good night for us. It's not a good night for us. But this 4 days off, 4 days off, this team will come back against the Calgary Flames. Hopefully, we can come back and we can get some momentum built. This team needs a spark. They need this rest. Losing 5 of the past 6 games. It's been ugly. It has been ugly. Very ugly. But this team can recover. It's going to be all about how they respond to this adversity. Not panic time yet. If the Toronto Maple Leafs come out and they lose 3 of their next 4 games, yeah, then we can talk about panic time. But JB, not yet. Not yet. Leafs are right, folks. We will get better. Calming voice from Jack Trout. Thank you for that, Jack. Sometimes we all need to just take a deep breath and keep calm and believe. Videos of Reddit says, I'm really looking forward to the next few Jets Leafs games. I am too. They're always high action, entertaining games to watch. Coaches hate it, but it's fun hockey. It is very fun hockey. We will get to see these two teams face off 6 more times. Winnipeg, Toronto, and those games are going to be heated because these currently are the 2 top teams in the North Division, and I'd expect it to remain that way for the remainder of the season. These 2 teams will battle it out for first place in the Scotia North Division. It's going to be fun to watch. Winnipeg, Toronto, the 2 best equipped teams out of this North Division, head to head 6 more times. It's only going to get more heated every single time they play. It's going to be fun to watch for sure. Jets have a chance to take first in the division this week, and I think that they will. I think they will. I think they will. I think they will, Jason. I definitely think that they will take over first this week. The Leafs don't play for 5 days till Friday, so I would not be surprised to see it at all. James says, Oilers are great. Funny how badly the mighty Oil hammered the Sens and the Laughs. Remember the Leafs won 3 straight games against the Edmonton Oilers, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl totaled 1 assist? Me too. 1 assist between McDavid and Draisaitl in 3 games against the Leafs. I remember that. What are you talking about? Games in hand are nothing until you win them. That's true, but the Winnipeg Jets are a good team. I think they will probably take first in the division. Obviously, I hope not. I think they will take first over this next week. I think the Maple Leafs can definitely respond and come back and win the division ultimately. There's still a long time to go in this season. But this week, I think the Jets will most likely take over. Your thoughts on the turnovers that have crept back into this team's game? Here we go. We set a bar versus the Oilers and haven't reached it since. Hutch was awful, but it was the turnovers that killed this team. It was, and it wasn't just tonight. It was the last game against the Jets too. 12 turnovers in each of our past 2 games. We had 8 turnovers in the first period against the Winnipeg Jets last game. This is it's an ongoing trend, and we need to cut it out. We need to cut it out. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been turning the puck over, making silly mistakes in their own defensive zone. Multiple occasions tonight, I saw from behind our own net or one side of the ice, one end to another. They, in our own defensive end, were passing the puck right across the net, right across the slot, giving the puck away in our own end, and that's a problem. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to clean it up, and I'd expect them to over the next 4 nights with time off. So we need to clean it up for sure. We've got time to go over the tape, discuss and practice, take some rest, and regather ourselves. Toronto Maple Leafs need to get it together. This is a great comment, Mike. It was hard to watch these past few games. John says Jake Muzzin was bad tonight. Jake Muzzin, you know what? I'll call a spade a spade. He was bad tonight. I had him on my fantasy team. Sucked having him on my fantasy team tonight. But Muzzin was not good tonight. He looked slow. He struggled to maintain possession of the puck. He gave away the puck on a few occasions. He wasn't good tonight. He's someone who's won a Stanley Cup with LA, 2 Stanley Cups with LA. I'd expect him to bounce back from it. He'll be all right. Now we could all bleep about the last stretch of games, or we could put that in the past and look forward to what's coming up. I sure as hell know Keefe won't let this stretch go, and we could see changes. And he continues his comment with, this team is new. This team is a first-place team. No first-place team will shrug this off like nothing. We should expect a stronger and harder Leafs team too. Continues. We should expect a stronger and harder Leafs team to come out. Keefe won't let this stretch go, and we could see changes based on play and lines. This team is different. I've said that a lot this year too. You're right. This team needs to regather, and they can't just shrug this off. They need to use this past 6-game stretch as motivation, a turning point in their season. You thought the Toronto Maple Leafs were a juggernaut. They looked great in the beginning of the season. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to be revamped. Come Friday night against the Calgary Flames, they need to be revamped, and they need to have tons of energy. They need to use this momentum going forward. Just start a revenge tour after these past 6 games. It has been ugly. Horrible to watch. You want to rip your eyeballs out at times. It has been bad. But the Toronto Maple Leafs will come out stronger. Sheldon Keefe, players coach, he's going to be hard on these guys. You saw the determination he has as a head coach tonight, trying to win, pulling the goaltender with 6 minutes, literally changing Frederik Andersen on and off like it's a line combination. There will be changes made. Sheldon Keefe is flexible. He's not like Mike Babcock. He is willing to make changes in the lineup that need to be made. Sheldon Keefe, the Toronto Maple Leafs will regather this week, and they'll come back. We've got time, but the Winnipeg Jets are coming for us, and we need to be better. Leafs fan says, we need Simmons back. The Wayne train. Let's get the Wayne train back. I would love to get the Wayne train back. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. He broke his wrist on February 4th. Is now March 14th. So it's about 5 weeks. Should be getting him back in the next week or two. Just based off of the 6 week. We should be getting the Wayne train back in a week or two. Just remember back to what he was doing. Before the Wayne train was derailed. He had 5 goals. He was someone who motivated this team. Definitely a locker room presence. He's won a Mark Messier Award back in 2018, a leadership award. The Wayne train can do a lot of things for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's someone you want on your team. He gives that team a spark. You saw it in the first game of the season when he dropped the mitts against the Montreal Canadiens. The Maple Leafs were down. They came back and won that game 5-4 in overtime. Wayne Simmons, when he gets back, expect that to be a big boost for this team going forward. Dinner Bells says Simmons will definitely inject some much-needed energy, and Campbell, being such a team player, will do wonders too. Jack Campbell. Let's go back to Jack Campbell. He had a big win, and he was playing. It was the game that Jason Spezza had that vintage goal. Jack Campbell, I believe he had a shutout that game. And instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I thought I did well. I thought I did great," he's like, "Shout out to vintage Jason Spezza. He's a great team player. He's someone that you want on your team for sure." And he's been making a lot of people say, "Is there goalie controversy?" Which I don't think there is. But I definitely would like to see some more of Jack Campbell going forward. He's got a great attitude, great team player. Wayne Simmons gonna inject some much needed energy. Great comment, Dinner Bells. I'm worried that Simmons might go down again. Should the Leafs get some more grit before the deadline? I don't know if they should get some more grit necessarily. I'd like to get another top 6 forward, someone that we can slot in and that really pushes this team over the top. Someone that pushes this team over the top and makes them forces them to be able to compete with the big boys in the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning if we get out of the North Division. I mean, Simmons, it's definitely possible for him to go down again, but he's a leader and he's a warrior. Let's just try to stay positive. Let's be excited to get him back. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs, they could definitely get some more grit, but I'd expect them to go for someone who solidifies their top 6 forward group before someone who's a gritty player. Oh yeah, of course. Of course he does. Wayne Simmons agreed. John Howard. Simmons will be buzzing when he returns on the ice for a game. He's gonna be hyped up. We need Darcy. We need a Darcy Tucker. Darcy Tucker. Uh, Darcy Tucker would be fun to watch right now. He just sparks everybody. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find a Darcy Tucker in the NHL nowadays, though. That's the thing. Yes, he says Freddie is clearly not 100%, and he's also tonight. Think about this. Let's not put tonight on Frederik Andersen. Can we do that, please? Can we all agree that tonight Frederik Andersen was not to blame? Please. He made 26 saves on 28 shots, coming in on a back-to-back, short notice. Literally, Michael Hutchinson's yanked after facing 3 shots. Freddie, you're going to play the rest of the night. I know it's a back-to-back. You're not getting the rest tonight. You're going in there. Frederik Andersen, he's not 100%. You're never 100% as a goalie in a season. You're not. He's not 100% rested up, and he was not 100% having his head in the game. But considering all these things that we have to take into consideration, I think Frederik Andersen had a solid performance tonight. Kept the Maple Leafs somewhat in the game, and I mean, yeah, I think that Frederik Andersen, he did good. We need Gary Roberts or a lick-face Marchand. I don't think with the protocols in the NHL right now, having Brad Marchand on your team would be a good thing. Like, just imagine what would happen. What would the fine be right now if Brad Marchand went up to a player and licked his face? Would that be a suspension today? I think it would be a suspension right now, considering the pandemic and everything. If Brad Marchand went up to someone and licked someone's face in the NHL during a pandemic, that would be a suspension. I'm almost certain of that. Did anyone else notice Hyman had an A on tonight? Jake Muzzin had one on too. I believe that they switched the A around quite frequently throughout the season on this team. But Zach Hyman, he could. I saw a comment in here saying he could be a captain, and you know what? He could be a captain on a lot of teams. The effort he gives, he's not going to be a player who leads your team in goals and assists and points. He's not usually going to be that player, but he is a heart and soul player. He's determined. He's got grit. He'll get in the dirty areas. Zach Hyman is a workhorse, and he exemplifies everything you want in a player. He has blue collar playing style, and he could definitely be a captain, as someone said earlier here. I didn't see where it was, but he could be. Rye here says, I think Simmons would be a great captain. He'll be the one to wake them up. Simmons would be a great captain. He's won a Mark Messier Leadership Award with Nashville back in 2018. But the thing about Wayne Simmons being a captain is when he played in Philadelphia, Giroux, obviously captain. Then he's played in a bunch of different places since then. Nashville, Buffalo, New Jersey, and now Toronto. He hasn't stayed anywhere long enough to be a captain there. And that's the thing. If he were to go somewhere and stay there, then I could definitely see him being a captain. But what he is, he might not be the captain of this team, and he may never be. He never will be the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's just the way it is. But he's a locker room presence, and that's something you cannot get enough of. You cannot have enough locker room presence. Joe Thornton, Wayne Simmons, Jason Spezevin. These are locker room veteran presences that you love to have on your team, and they make any team better. Kadri messed it up for us. We got to go back to that, really? The issue I have on Frederik Andersen is his 5-hole softy and doesn't move post to post quick enough. Hyman is like a Dustin Brown on the LA Kings. Great comment. Yes, that's a great comparison. Great comparison. That's a great comparison. A lot of grit, the block shots, make hits. That's a great comparison, ASC. I love that comparison right there. Dustin Brown, but I might even say Zach Hyman has, well, I'm going to say that Zach Hyman has more upside offensively than Dustin Brown. That's a great comparison for sure. William Bennett says Matthews should be captain. I want to see the captain under. Okay, Matthews should be captain. So I don't think Matthews should be the captain. I get why people say Matthews, he's got to be the captain. This is his team. He was here before Tavares. Tavares is the captain of this team. Whether you like it or not, leave it. He is the captain of this team. I've had Martin Biron, he was a former teammate of John Tavares in his rookie season. And he said that there's an entourage event, a red carpet event John Tavares was invited to with Matt Molson. And Tavares said, nah, I can't do that. And this is in New York City. Red carpet event. He's like, no, I can't do that. I've got a game in 3 days I need to prepare for. 3 days. So whether you like it or not, John Tavares might not be the most vocal guy. You don't know what goes on in the locker room behind closed doors. Just also take that in consideration. But John Tavares is a lead by example kind of guy. He's always working hard. He is the right player for captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And once he's got it, you can't take it away from him. You can't take it away from him. Dave Brown says, you know what, Dave? You're right. Why are people talking about captains? It's a useless discussion. It's totally unnecessary. You're right. There isn't a need to talk about captains right now. John Tavares is the captain of this team. Whether you like it or not, it's not going anywhere. JB says, in Dubas we trust. How's everyone feeling about Kyle Dubas right now? I think Kyle Dubas is he's done a great job. I really think that. He fulfilled his 2 promises, that of keeping the core 4 intact, and this offseason he said he was going to make this team a tougher team to play against. He's done it. In Dubas, we trust. Kyle Dubas has done a great job for the Toronto Maple Leafs these past 2 off seasons, especially this one. There wasn't much wiggle room, wasn't much to do, so I think that he did a great job this offseason specifically. In the draft, you might question, why did you draft another small left winger from Russia? Well, there's things to take into consideration. You have the fact that everyone was asking, why do you draft Amirov from Russia? You draft him because at the time there's a lot of uncertainty with the CHL, which there still is. So you're drafting a player who's definitely playing in Russia. And why did you draft a left winger and not a defenseman? Because defensemen take longer to develop. I don't mind the draft pick of Amirov. At the time, I was a bit baffled by it, but now, letting it soak in and thinking about it more, I think that he did a good job. Al M says, Dubas has overpaid 4 players. Name the 4. I don't consider William Nylander overpaid. Austin Matthews, you're going to have to pay that. Tavares, you can make a case for it. Marner, for sure. Marner and Tavares, you can make a case for overpaying. But Tavares, you're going to have to pay him that money if you're bringing him to Toronto. Marner, he was going to go elsewhere. So he promised that he would keep the core 4 intact, And he did it. Everyone was saying it's impossible. He did it. And now he's getting comments like this. He's overpaid 4 players. I don't think he overpaid William Nylander. I don't think he overpaid Austin Matthews. Do you think players like Matthews and Marner will want to move on from the Leafs if things don't go the way they've wanted to this year in the playoffs? No. No. It's definitely not Marner. Definitely not Marner. Definitely not Marner. Marner grew up a Leafs fan. There's a video. I think he's like 3 or 4 years old. He says, "I want to be, or I cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs." He's a Maple Leafs guy. I don't see him going anywhere. Uh, Matthews, I don't see him going anywhere either. There's more. There's more discussion about Matthews because he has a bridge contract, so that's up in the air. But we still have him for another 2 years after this season. I don't see it happening anytime soon. T. Dot says Matthews will go to Arizona after the contract, and you can say, yeah, he sure he plays in Arizona, whatever. But he's from Arizona. He grew up a Coyotes fan. Arizona Coyotes might not even be a franchise by the time that Austin Matthews is a free agent. Like, honestly, Coyotes actually might not be a franchise when Austin Matthews is. JB says it. There will be no Arizona team. I mean, there definitely could be, and he could try to save them, but I don't think that would work out for him. I don't think that would work out for the Coyotes. That's a mess. Right here. If Arizona is still around, there's a lot of uncertainty around them. There has been for a long time. I don't think he's going there. I really don't think. Marner MVP says, based on the rumors, the Leafs are interested in Granlund from the Predators, Sam Bennett from the Flames. No, don't want him. Rickard Rakell from the Ducks. Which players do you think the Leafs should go for? Or should they go for all three? I mean, Rakell would be nice, but you're going to have to give up a king's ransom for him. You're not going to get him. I don't think that they're going to do it. Granlund, he could help solidify the top 6. And Sam Bennett, you can say he's a playoff performer, whatever. His playoff performance, it's been good for a Calgary Flames team. He was tied for first on the team, but the rest of the team didn't do their job. Monahan was like the rest of their players did not do their job for the Calgary Flames. So Bennett, if the price is right, sure. If the price is right, and for me the price that's right is Pierre Engvall. I mean, I'm really not giving up much more than that. Granlund, I'm down for that. Rakell, I'd be down, but you're gonna have to give up too much. So that's my response to these 3 guys. Toronto is a great city to play in, lots of opportunity for stuff outside of hockey too. Great comment, Jack. Toronto's a great city. We got a great fan base. We love our Toronto Maple Leafs. Just player walks down the street, they're known. Some people don't like that. Some people definitely don't like the I'm always in the spotlight, and that's understandable. People like their privacy, but that's it's true. Mike says, and people need to get off the Willie bashing bus. It's incredibly old. Yes, you know what, Mike? I've got something you might like. I've got a little thing you might like for all the William Nylander critics. I know the Leafs lost tonight, but Nylander has been great recently. He had 7 goals in the last 9 games coming into this game tonight. So this is for all the critics. Shh. Enough. Stop critiquing William Nylander. He's been excellent for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. He's been excellent. I loved what I've seen from him. Leafs fan says Leafs might go after Taylor Hall. I would be so surprised to see this happen. Why? Can somebody please give me a reason why? And don't say because he's won an MVP. Don't say it. Why should we go for Taylor Hall? If you think we should go for Taylor Hall, please give me a valid reason. Last time I checked, he has 2 goals with the Buffalo Sabres this year. Last time I checked. I'm gonna just make sure he has 2 goals still. Taylor Hall, I had to drop him on my fantasy team. That was one of the worst fantasy picks I've ever made. Taylor Hall, yeah, 2 goals, 14 assists this season with the Buffalo Sabres. Uh, no, no. The reason he says is because he's a UFA. That's even more reason not to sign. That's even more of a reason not to trade for him. Kyle Dubas doesn't like players that Kyle Dubas doesn't enjoy. Kyle Dubas doesn't want to trade for a player who has a contract expiring at the end of the season. You don't want to trade for a guy with an $8 million contract this year who has 2 goals and 14 assists. It's not working in Buffalo. Why contaminate Toronto with that? Just don't do it. Please, no Hall from Dinner Bells. There's no need to do it. No need to do it. Rice says Bogo got in a little scrap. Didn't really go well for him, but yeah, he tried. He tried. Comment here. Hall playing with Eichel. 2 goals, 0 reason to talk about Hall. I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you. Not biased, but Mitch Marner from Marner MVP. Not biased, but Mitch Marner has been playing really well, both offensively and defensively. He's been a key penalty killer. I feel he's not appreciated as much or is criticized a lot, only because he's not a first overall. I think he's talking about first overall pick. Marner, he's definitely a really solid player. I love having Mitch Marner on the team. He's been great on the penalty kill. That's a great comment. Offensively, he's been shooting the puck more this season, which is what you like to see. Coming into this season, he said, I want to shoot the puck more. I want to score more. And he's done that. He's done that. That is what you want to see from Mitch Marner. Because last year, a lot of the time, even in years past, the hit on Mitch Marner was sometimes you'd like to see him shoot a puck when he's on a 2-on-1. He'd pass up a shot sometimes. And sure, that unselfish play, it's great to see. But this year he's been shooting the puck a lot more, and you'd love to see it. He's been a key contributor for this team, and that's what you need to be when you're getting paid as much as he is. I like this comment, Marner MVP. Great comment. Not biased at all from Marner MVP. But yeah, he's definitely a key contributor on the penalty kill, power play. Jack Trout says it here. Marner is money. Marner's great. I think Jack Eichel has 4 goals. I have him on one of my fantasy teams too, and it's tough. Buffalo is a tire fire. Only good player this year has been Eric Stahl. That's who I'd actually be interested in trading for from the Buffalo Sabres. I would rather trade for Eric Stahl than Taylor Hall on the Buffalo Sabres right now. Leafs fans saying I'm seeing a lot of people who don't know much about hockey right now, but you know what? I would rather pick up Eric Stahl with a small contract, someone who's won a Stanley Cup, than get a guy like Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall has 2 goals with the Buffalo Sabres this year. He's getting paid $8 million. No, thank you. I'm not interested in Taylor Hall. I'm good. I'll pass that up. Marner MVP says he's led the Leafs in points for 5 seasons straight now, and he's only 2 points behind Kaner. He's 6th in points behind Draisaitl. Is 6 points behind Draisaitl. He's tied for 7th or 6th in the league scoring as well this offseason. Marner's great. Marner's great, and I've been preaching it all season long. Don't know what else You want me to say Mitch Marner? He's a great player, and I'm happy to have him on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So block shots. He'll take shots now more frequently than not. He's a great elite playmaker. Someone you'd love to have on your team. Marner MVP. Ryan says, are we still buyers at this deadline? This team has fallen back to earth. There's two things you can be at the trade deadline. Buyers or sellers. Toronto Maple Leafs aren't sellers. They're buyers. The Toronto Maple Leafs are buyers. They're not going to be selling because they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. They're still first in the division. They're still competing. You're not going to sell. You're going to be buyers at this deadline if you make any moves. Leafs should trade for Jack Eichel. No, they shouldn't. I mean, he's a great player, but that you'd have to give up so much to get Jack Eichel. Leafs don't need any more mid-30 and over players. Fair. But if you can get a player that's going to push you over the top, like a really solid player that really solidifies you either defensively or offensively, whatever it may be, then yeah, I think you can. You can take a player who's over 30 if you feel as if that they will help this team make a final push for this playoff run that the Leafs are hoping to be equipped for. Tough loss. Yeah. Dinner Bells says, I've honestly thought that leaving the team as is would be the right move. We know they can play exceptionally and they need to figure it out together. Okay, Dinner Bells, I'm all for, keeping the group together. I love that. I love this group. I really love this group together. But if you can make a deal for a player like Philip Forsberg or Granlund to solidify your top 6, why not? Why not do it if you think that that player will help push this team over the top? Why would you not try for it? Go all in. Go all in. If you think that this is the group that's better equipped than in your years past, go for it. That's my thought. Hurt Locker says, hit that like button. And thank you for that. If you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, smash that like button, hit the notification bell up there to be notified every time new content's coming out on Maple Leafs Media. Got some live streams, reactions, bunch of other great stuff on this channel coming out consistently. Gonna take a couple more comments. Been on here an hour and 15 minutes now, and then we'll head out. Camden says, are we comfortable with the defensive core we have for a deep cup run? A deep cup run. I don't think so, to be honest. We need another top 4. Halsey has been back to his last year play. Justin Hall has definitely been struggling recently. He's been struggling recently, and earlier in the season, I would have told you I'm comfortable with the way Justin Hall's playing. I'm really comfortable. I think that we could look into getting another top 4 defenseman, but finding that on the market and figuring out what you have to give up in exchange for that is not as easy. It's not as easy to give up a guy like William Nylander. I know a lot of people want to trade William Nylander. I'm not one of them. I don't think it would be beneficial to trade William Nylander. You're losing a lot of scoring, 7 goals in the last 10 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It would be great to solidify your defensive core group for sure, but that's going to be difficult to do. Brian says, what do you think about tweaking the lines to switch things up? I think Sheldon Keefe, he'll look into doing it. He'll definitely look into doing it. Switch things up. You have a week off. We play Friday night against the Calgary Flames. I'd expect there to be some changes, whether it's line changes or just the change of pace of play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. What I'm looking for more than if line changes, tweaks to the lineup, what I'm looking for more than anything is intensity from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm looking for them to come out firing Friday night. You have to respond after this loss with your best game of the season, or one of your 3 best games of the season against Calgary. You need to be a great team. You got to play a full 60 minutes and dominate for 60 minutes. You can't play 20 minutes and dominate for the last period of the game and expect to have a comeback miracle. It's not going to happen. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to be better. Red Bull says, why don't the Leafs play Galchenyuk or Sabrin? They bring more grit to the team. I'd be interested to see what Galchenyuk can do for this team. I've said this on multiple occasions. He's someone who scored 30 goals back in 2015 with the Montreal Canadiens. He could be someone that gives this team a boost. His skating's been problematic recently, and he's really struggled to get comfortable in any organization since leaving Montreal. He's been on 7 teams since 2012 when he was drafted. 7 teams. This goes far beyond hockey. Think about the changes in his life. That's got to take a toll on you mentally. It's got to be very difficult to move that frequently, trying to adjust to a bunch of different lineups. So there's a lot to take into consideration when it comes to Alex Galchenyuk. I'd be really intrigued to see what he can do for this team. I think he's got some good upside to him. Obviously, he scored 30 goals about 7 years ago now. So maybe he can give this team a spark on the 3rd or 4th line, and maybe he could even play on a line with John Tavares and William Nylander at some point if he's playing up to it. We'll see. There's upside with him, but there's also a lot of downside. Marner MVP, do you think it's time to maybe start looking for assets to acquire? Maybe draft picks with John Tavares, maybe get a good young player in return while he's still pretty decent with value. Can't. He's got no trade clause. You can't trade John Tavares. So, and I don't think he's waiving a no trade clause to leave his hometown team. I just don't think that's going to happen. JB, can Spezza play with Matthews' line or Tavares' line? Why not? Jason's on that Matthews Marner line. You can slot anybody in. You could slot me in there, and I'd get a couple points. Honestly, you could slot anybody in with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and they will most likely contribute. Spezza can definitely play on a line with Austin Matthews or John Tavares. You saw what Joe Thornton was capable of doing. He had 9 points in his first 9 games with the Maple Leafs on a line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. You can put just about anybody on a line with either of these 2 players, and they will get points. So yeah, I think Spezza definitely could, but I like having him lower in the lineup because the thing about Spezza playing lower in the lineup is he's a great presence to have lower in your lineup, a veteran presence, and he's got great offensive upside still. Great playmaker. He gets things going on that 3rd or 4th line whenever he's on it. And great comment from Jason as well. Great comment. He leads the Leafs in face-off percentage. So moving him to a wing position, your face-off percentage is going to go down. So that's another thing you need to take into consideration. Great point from Jason. Yes, he says this team needs a shake-up. Play Matthews. Hold on. Play Matthews with Nylander and Tavares with Marner. I've heard that. I don't know where I heard that today. But I heard that Matthews and Nylander, with Matthews' wrist injury, that could help out. But I don't want to separate Matthews and Marner. These 2 are magic together. They're magic together. It's amazing what they're capable of doing. I think John Tavares is starting to get a chemistry going with Nylander, Nylander's been really hot recently. So I'd be hesitant. I'd proceed with caution if I were to do this, just because of how well Matthews and Marner have played together this year. I'd be very hesitant. Camden says Tavares plays better with Mitch, but Camden, everybody plays better with Mitch Marner. He's an elite playmaker. Elite playmaker. You can play just about anybody with Mitch Marner, and they are going to get points. They're going to get points. If you're playing with Mitch Marner, you're going to score because he is just an elite playmaker. Drop the Puck says Friedman said the other day that the Leafs in Nashville are talking about Matthias Ekholm. That'd be a nice player to really solidify the top 4 unit of the Toronto Maple Leafs defensively. That'd be nice. I'd really be interested. I'm not sure what Ekholm's contract is. I'd have to look into that some more, but that'd be very interesting to bring him on. Maybe we could even bring him along with Greenland. That'd be interesting. Hurt Locker says, I'd love to get Ekholm. I would too. Why does everyone like Nylander? I think he's a good player, but there are better and might be earning less, in which every penny the Leafs can save is key going forward. Okay, Frank Rusty Nails. So think about this. Think about this, all right? You compare William Nylander to David Pastrnak. His contract, it doesn't look pretty, right? You compare William Nylander's contract to John Tavares' contract. Nylander's got a damn good contract. It's all about who you're comparing it to, and you got to compare it to your own team. William Nylander is a really good player. He had 31 goals last year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had 7 goals in his past 9 games coming into this season. William Nylander is a valuable asset for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if you were to trade him, you're not going to get what you want in return. His trade value isn't the same as what the Toronto market values him. It's just the way it is. Dominic says, your unbiased thoughts on Brady Tkachuk? There's no bias here. No bias here, Dominic. Brady Tkachuk is an outstanding player who is going to be the future captain of the Ottawa Senators. Him and his brother Matthew, outstanding players, play with grit and heart, just like Keith, their father, did. Brady Tkachuk is a player that I would love to have on the Toronto Maple Leafs, but unfortunately, we have to play against him 9 times this year. Brady Tkachuk is a leader. He's an antagonizer. He's someone that you hate to play against, but you'd love to play with him on your team. He's like a player like, obviously, like Matthew Tkachuk. There's a few players like that you think of that you hate to play against them, but you love them on your team. And those are names like Brad Marchand. I'm not saying he plays the same way, but it's Brad Marchand, Tom Wilson's, the Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk. These are players that you would love to have on your team. Hate to play against them. He's a great player, and the Senators, honestly, the Ottawa Senators do have a bright future. Looking at what they were doing this offseason, you brought in Matt Murray. I really thought that the Senators, they're looking a lot better. And if this division wasn't the North Division, if it was just the division we were in before, just the regular Atlantic Division, I think the Senators would be higher in their standings. I think they're making a push here, trying to get in that 4th spot. We'll see for the Ottawa Senators, but Brady Tkachuk is an exceptional young player. Hurt Locker says Pastrnak was happy to get $6 million at the time. I mean, I bet he'd love to renegotiate now, but I think he wants to win. And for players that want to win, you can look at a player like Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby has taken a pay cut. Or Tom Brady, even in football. These are players who are the best at what they do. They take pay cuts. They win multiple championships. Sometimes that's what it takes. It takes that sometimes. I would choose Philip Forsberg over Nylander, and he makes $9,000 less than Nylander. Philip Forsberg, probably agree with you there. Forsberg, he's been extremely good since he came into the NFL. He's a great player. He'll make hits too. He's a great two-way player. But if you were to try to acquire Philip Forsberg, I honestly don't think you ever need to get William Nylander. Give him up in a package. If the Toronto Maple Leafs are legitimate about trying to get Philip Forsberg, I don't think they need to package William Nylander. They can make a big package. They can get the Nashville Predators to retain some of that salary. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I have a video on Philip Forsberg, should the Maple Leafs trade for him, in a past video on this channel. You can check that out after this if you'd like. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Toronto Maple Leafs do on deadline day. It's approaching. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Unfortunately, the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't come out with the win tonight. Brian says, I really like Zach Hyman, but he seemed a little off tonight. I don't think he did. I really don't think he did. He had 2 goals tonight. He had a great game in my eyes. I thought he was one of the best players on the ice at all times. Zach Hyman, he's always a workhorse out there, and what he has done for this team, it can't go understated. He's got a contract year coming up this offseason. We have to re-sign Zach Hyman. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to re-sign that heart and soul player. Plays with so much intensity and grit all the time. Great workhorse. But on that note, I've been on here ranting for the last hour and 27 minutes. The Maple Leafs have lost 5 of their past 6 games. It's been a really bad losing skid for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They got a week off to recover. We come back Friday night. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to respond to this adversity. They need to recover. They need to regroup. They need to do some self-reflection here over these next couple nights so they can come out and put on their best performance of the season against the Calgary Flames. It's not panic time yet. Not yet. If the Toronto Maple Leafs come out flat next couple of games, then you can go ahead and smash that panic button all you want. But right now, I'm asking, can you please smash that like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I'm here on Maple Leafs Media. Always got new content coming out. Been on here for an hour and a half chatting with Leafs Nation, hockey fans outside of Leafs Nation as well, some Senators fans. Great to see you guys on here. Great game tonight from the Ottawa Senators. Not so great from the Toronto Maple Leafs. On that note, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for coming in here. As always, stay safe out there. Leafs need to respond Friday night. Until then, see you next time.